where we think about reproductive rights as legal rights, laws and, legal battles, much like the fight for Roe. And you think about reproductive health as literal access to reproductive health. And then reproductive justice aims to combine the two in a way that centers social justice. As an immigrant Mexican woman, women's rights in this country look still like black and white.
So as we know, in 2016, we elected Donald Trump. The fervor around that election really reignited the reproductive justice movement. It's not just about somebody's ability to get abortion care. It's looking at all the surrounding conditions. If that person's an immigrant, if that person is low income, if that person's transgender, if that person is a black woman.
I don't feel like in the educational system that they really teach you about abortion. But when I was younger, I used to think differently. When I used to go to church, they would talk about how it was a sin. So I was basically influenced by that.
When I became pregnant at the age of 21, I thought I knew what I was going to do. I knew that I wasn't ready, and before that I was like, if I ever got pregnant right now, I would have an abortion. But when I got pregnant, it wasn't easy. I still was like, well, what do I do? There's people judging me, people thinking I'm being irresponsible. The clinic in Georgia where I had my abortion had no name outside of the clinic because abortion clinics face violence. There was an armed police officer guarding. The waiting room was filled with people, and it activated me. I was pissed off. I was wondering why it was that people were judging, that people think they get to have opinions.
In college, when I went to get birth control with my partner, and I had to go to a Planned Parenthood, there was a crowd in front of the door, and that crowd was yelling at me, they spit on me, they tried to grab me. It was very traumatic. They didn't stop me. What they did instead is create an activist. But what I learned doing activism across the country is that a lot of people don't feel like they have the tools. So they just sort of believe like their children will learn in school.
We know at the Latina Institute through numerous polling that we've done that a large majority, like 67%, 68% of Latinos support, the right to abortion and access without interference from politicians or anyone else, just between you, your family, and your doctor. We also know that a large majority of legislators are men, white men. And they have the ability to create laws that either create barriers or liberate abortion and health care. Now I think that white feminists are listening to communities of color, black feminists, and what they've been saying for decades now.
We're facing a Supreme Court case that can undo Roe. We're seeing states across the nation institute policies that would roll back access to abortion care in this country. So it's been honestly quite scary, but an important moment to elevate how critical it is to have this conversation and protect this right.
To pay attention to how people are impacted, because people with money will always have access to abortion.
So I'm so proud to have been successful in running for office, getting a seat in the New York State Assembly, and being able to tell my story as an activist, as a woman of color, to center the policies that impact the lives of people like me in my community.
And oftentimes I hear from activists that say, I'm pro-choice and I'm pro-mind your business, because it's no one's business what I do with my private healthcare decisions.
Hopefully there'll be a change and women's voices will be heard.